everyone, it's Kirsten from TwinTalksBallet, your place on the internet for mindset strategies for optimum mental health and optimum performance as a ballet dancer, as well as career advice and technique tips, which is what we're going to get into today. As you guys might know if you've been following me for a while, technique tips is kind of like a recent addition to this channel. So if you're into that, definitely subscribe, hit the notification bell so you are alerted next time I share with you guys some more technique tips, because I know you guys have been enjoying that. So today I'm going to take a little bit of a different angle with the technique tip video series I've been doing, and instead of focusing on the specific things like I've done a video on turnout and placement and how to increase your double pays and extensions, and today I actually am going to go to Instagram. You guys commented on one of my latest posts and you shared with me some comments that you've heard from teachers, some corrections that actually don't make any sense to you, or you think you have like a vague idea of what they mean, but you're still kind of like, I feel like there's a good intention here, but I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do, what you're talking about. Like, for example, how many of you guys have heard lift from the back of your leg? I'm going to get into that one today. I'm going to break down to the best of my abilities what I think your teachers really mean and what you can start to do to improve in these areas. So if you are interested in clarifying some random corrections that I'm sure many of you have heard before, keep on watching. I also want to let you guys know that even though you probably heard about the Mindset Movement Technique Accelerator program I recently launched, I'm going to remind you guys of what it is and then also let you know that spots are now open for October and November. So this is prime audition prep season. It's, you guys, if you're preparing for auditions in the spring, January is too late to start. This is a great time to make the most of your time training from home if you're still training at home, or just maximize your training in general. And so what this program does is it's a series of 6 private lessons where I not only give you high-level technical instruction to help you overcome just some physical challenges that you've been experiencing in your technique, maybe some frustrating blocks, like you feel like you haven't been able to turn out as much as you'd like for years, you're not happy with your extensions, your pirouettes, you're not happy with them, you can't figure out what's not working, you just know that they're not working. This program is designed to give you technical instruction paired with mindset coaching to overcome the mental blocks around these steps that are keeping you stuck, frustrated, and insecure about your technique. Confidence is truly everything as a dancer, so this program is really designed to give you confidence in your abilities as a dancer so that you can really go out there, your auditions, your performances, or even if you're just dancing for yourself, and really enjoy yourself and be proud of what you're doing. So to apply for this program, just click the link below to my website, kirstenkemp.com, where you can hit the one-on-one coaching page, and then there's a little drop-down menu. It'll say Mindset Movement Technique Accelerator Program. You can learn more about the specific features and benefits of this program, because there's a lot I wasn't able to mention in the short clip, and you'll also be able to apply for one of the 4 spots open for October, November, and I can also take applications for December as well. And I will also put on the screen some screenshots of what dancers who are currently going through the program have to say about their experience so far, and some big aha moments and exciting results they've experienced so far. So if you want some of these results you're seeing on the screen, you would probably really enjoy this program. So can't wait to work with you. Okay, but that's enough of that. Let's get into the confusing comments that I'm going to do my very best to clarify, explain, help you with. So let's just start with my absolute favorite confusing point of all time, which is lift from the back of your leg. Oh my gosh, I heard this so much as a dancer and I found it confusing. And then when I actually took a year of kinesiology classes in college, I was like, wow, anatomically, this makes no sense. Your legs don't work that way. So let me break it down. First off, the muscles that actually raise your leg in the air are these big abductor muscles right here, your quadriceps. I mean, there are other muscles that will help with abduction, but mostly your primary abductors when you're actually raising your leg are actually going to be the quad muscles. Now, I know quads get a super bad rap in ballet, but I think it's honestly not for a very good reason. Of course, we don't want to grip our quads and create bulky muscles. We want long lines, but in order to dance effectively, you do actually have to make friends with your quadriceps because they will help you out a lot. I would recommend, if you want to go further in depth on this, watch my video I've already posted on how to improve your développés and extensions. But really, what I think teachers are getting at here, both in grand battements and in développés, is that they want to see stability in your body so that your leg has this look of effortlessly floating up and extending. In the context of the développé specifically, if you are stabilized on this side of your body, especially in your abdominal muscles and the obliques here, the sides of your body here, if you're stabilized, instead of lifting from the top of your leg where the hip goes up, really the outer quad is taking over, I think what they're really trying to get at is, though they might not say this, they want to see, of course, flexibility in the hamstring. It's important to have enough flexibility to get a straight line, especially through the back of the leg. I encourage all dancers to think of straightening their legs from the back. Not that the muscles at the back of the leg will actually accomplish that action, but think of making a straight line, lengthening enough through your leg, and using your quad, really pulling up those kneecaps, but having enough flexibility in the back of the leg to where you have a long line here, rather than just using the front of your leg and kind of squeezing inwards like this, but rather using, in the example of first position, using the inner thighs to squeeze together, which actually allows the quads to still work, but not to take over the whole job. And that sort of partnership between the inner and outer parts of the leg is what will create even strength and that look of length and ease through the leg. So when you're doing a développé, if you use the inner quad here to lift towards the ceiling, you're stabilizing in your abdominals, you're really shifting your torso over that standing leg, wrapping your glutes up and under here. You're going to have a really nice setup to have stability here. I know I just lifted my hip, I'm not very warm right now, but yeah, instead of lifting this way, stabilizing here to be able to lift the leg without the outer quad taking over so that you have that look of effortlessness and length. I think that's what they're kind of getting at. Then additionally, when you're doing grand battements, it's important to, like you probably heard a million times, brush into the floor, brush to lift up. That does have a point because it actually reminds your body to stabilize before it lifts, rather than just lifting from here is going to throw off your torso and create a lot of tension at the top of the leg, rather than keeping the torso stabilized, doing your brush grand battement there. Again, I'm not very warm, so I'm kind of like falling over. But yeah, I think the name of the game is really stabilization and using the inner quad to lift. Don't demonize the quad, use it efficiently. Efficiently, that's the key. And then having flexibility in the back of the leg. I think that's kind of what your teachers are getting at there. Okay, another dancer says that she hears relax your shoulders. She says, which really means engage your back muscles to keep the shoulders down. They only go so far though. Some is just anatomy. True. Okay, so instead of saying just relax the shoulders, because honestly, you guys do this little experiment, relax your shoulders entirely, just relax your shoulders. In order to achieve like total relaxation, there can be like a sinking in the spine a little bit. So I think this dancer is correct. You're using the lat muscles, engaging them and shortening them, which will naturally help you lower your shoulders, so that, simply put, you're increasing your engagement here so that the shoulders lower. We'll see a lot of dancers can actually have tension here, in their scalenes, the top of their shoulders right there, because they're actually lacking engagement of the core, the lat muscles, and then even the back. I don't personally like to squeeze the shoulder blades together. I just kind of say to students, take the shoulder blades slightly in and down on the back, just slightly and gently. So instead of squeezing them together like this, just think of them tucking into pockets on your back so that they're gently kind of tacked down. And a lot of that is going to be from the lat muscles and some of the rhomboids, trapezius. You will have a little bit of a contraction there, but it is more about engaging the correct muscles rather than just relaxing the shoulders. Whew, I'm excited for this next one. This dancer says she hears lift out of your legs. I feel like there was a good intention behind this, but it doesn't make anatomical sense to me. Word, right? Because your torso is attached to the legs, right? So it's not just gonna like lift off your legs. Here's what I think they mean. And also my turnout video that I've already done, I think will expand upon these points I'm about to make in more detail. But if you try this, like if you try getting taller here, you can try to just lift up the upper body and it might expand your ribs here or take your head back a little bit. But really what I like to tell my students is that if you first, in terms of the spine here, if you kind of treat, you know, like if you've ever squeezed, like, I don't know, you've squeezed something and then it kind of expands out the top of your hand like this. That's kind of how I see engaging the muscles around the torso. I engage my abdominals here, and that kind of creates this length in my spine. Then also for lifting out of the legs, usually what they're getting at, I think, is what your teachers might be seeing is kind of like a crease here, a shortness in the spine, kind of just like a compression in the spine and in the legs. So when they're saying lift out of the legs, I think one of the best ways to actually do this is if you just take the example of first position, a lot of the height you're going to get is in engaging the glutes here from pointing back, having your pelvis point backwards this way to up and under you in a more neutral position here. Because if you're here, you're going to be shortened and the quad muscles might take over. If you are using your glutes here, wrapping them under and around like that, not tucking, but just wrapping them, you're going to have more length and flatness at the front of your hip. And actually when you turn out your legs, you're going to feel this like flattening at the front of the quad eventually. And then the inner thighs to come together. This applies for fifth position too. Inner thighs together, taking your pelvis forward into a neutral position. And that will allow your entire quad muscles, even the hamstrings, the inner thighs to engage and wrap up this way. I hope that was helpful. Ooh, this one's interesting. This dancer says, don't put quite so much energy into it. I love some good, strong energy in a dancer, but I think what your teachers probably mean is just they're looking for a shift in the quality of how you're moving. I wouldn't say put less energy into what you're doing, unless what they might be seeing is excess tension. So again, energy is kind of like a vague term, so it's important to kind of define, if you can, with your teachers, what do you mean by that? Because they might mean let go of tension in the body. Instead of gripping your muscles, have a gentle engagement so that you can flow from one movement to the next with ease and a certain level of smoothness, some grace. What I've seen when I've seen dancers get that comment, don't put quite so much energy into it, is that they're kind of dancing with an overly forceful quality. Forceful and sharp, maybe a little bit jolting. So you might do an arabesque and it's kind of like, you know, it's very, very forceful, like you really hit it, instead of channeling that energy into get to the position and grow a little bit. So it's kind of, I would say, instead of don't put quite so much energy into it, have more of a growing and expansive energy where you can expand into that arabesque and then do a softer tombe pas bourrée, something like that, rather than hitting every single step with force, kind of aggression, the same quality of energy. I like to personally encourage dancers to treat their dancing kind of like exaggerated breathing. So I like to, personally, when I'm dancing, have moments of expansion through my whole body and then a little softness or contraction, expansion and contraction. And that all starts from here as well in my chest. And that actually allows you to continue to have highlight moments without going like, okay, we're in a big position here and now we have to make it bigger and bigger and bigger, you know? You have to expand and contract so that you're not constantly trying to make every position bigger, put more emphasis on it because you can only do so much. But you're still, through that contrast, able to have highlight moments with appropriate softness and relaxation as well. Okay, the last one I will cover is pull your ribs in. And this dancer had a question like, how does that work if you have a bigger chest? So pulling the ribs in, I like to say knitting them together, just uses, it's kind of like your teacher is asking you to engage your upper abs here, which actually will, instead of expanding the rib cage, it'll kind of flatten down those lower ribs and pull this opening in ribs from expanding apart to pulling them together. So that's where you can contract your abs. I like to tell dancers, kind of pretend that you have a twisted t-shirt on and your abs are actually mimicking that movement. So the thing is, you can still, it's like a gentle contraction, so you can still breathe. You can still have an expansion in your rib cage to have that presence, that posture, that artistry. But I like to tell dancers, make sure you're doing your core exercises. Pilates mat exercises are fantastic for this before every class. So it reminds your body to kind of have this default state of gently engaged abdominals. And when your abdominals are gently engaged, you can still breathe. The breathing and expansion of the rib cage, instead of going outwards and inwards this way, it's going more through your sternum, up and down. So this takes getting used to, but that's what your teacher likely means. And if you have a bigger chest, it really shouldn't make much of a difference. Yeah, it just has to do with engaging the core muscles and changing your breathing from expanding the rib cage out this way and in to kind of keeping your abs gently contracted and taking your breathing up and down. Okay, you guys, I hope you thought that was very helpful. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and also let me know what other technique tips you would like for me to cover. And it would also be interesting if you commented what are some other weird comments you've gotten from teachers that don't make a lot of sense. Can't wait to hear or read what you have to say, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.